Good morning, you listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. I'm in Dallas. I'm at the Nebraska Furniture Mart with Benjamin Liebert, the president of Shaw's residential business. Benjamin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you today, Kemp.
It's been a little while since we've caught up, and I want to catch up. You've been at Shaw for 2.5 years. Let's get to that in just a minute. The reason we're here is because this is now the third reset of Nebraska Furniture Mart's 4 stores in the carpet area. They did it first in Omaha, then they did it in Kansas City, and now they've done it here. This is their biggest store. They're giving you 50% of the space. That's quite a statement, isn't it?
It is quite a statement, and as you said, this is our third installment. So each time we do these launches, they get a little bit better. We learn from our previous installs, and this is the best one we've done yet.
I've got to say, the photography, you've changed out the merchandising system, run some pictures on Floor Daily. So how did you earn this?
Well, I think every day we have to show up and we have to earn it, right? So that means you're bringing the right products at the right price, right service, right quality. So it's a combination of a lot of things. NFM's a great partner of ours. They've given us the opportunity to prove that over the years. And I think with those types of investments and those proof points, you get the opportunity to do more. And I think this is, a great example of successes that we've had in those previous 2 installs in Omaha and Kansas City, and now here in Dallas. And then we're prepping for the big new store in Austin next year as well.
And they've already told you to give you some special space there?
Yeah, obviously we have to earn that spot, and we're working through those details as we speak. So that in the spring that will be open. So we're working through all the final details right now.
It's called the Anso Gallery, and you actually have signage on the outside of the building related to this as well. So from the minute you get in the parking lot until you're here shopping for flooring, there's a lot of signage that supports the brands, right?
It is, yeah. And Anso Gallery is something that's been around for some time. It's synonymous with performance, with quality, but more importantly, the consumer benefit, right? Because I think we've got to quickly continue to move from technical specifications to consumer benefits. Really, this is what I like to say is this is the reason to believe in the story and the proof point that the products that we're putting in consumers' homes through NFM, they really can change your life.
It doesn't hurt that Shaw Industries and Nebraska Furniture Mart are both owned by Berkshire Hathaway, right?
Yeah, this is a misconstrued notion quite a bit, and I'd love to debunk this a little bit. So it's nice to be part of the same holding company, but I'd like to remind everyone that we get no special treatment. We get no special favors. We still have to have great service, great quality, and a competitive price. And if one of those 3 is out of alignment, I assure you we won't be earning our space, even if we work for the same company.
If you look at our top 100 list that we do every year in November, this Nebraska Furniture Mart is in the top 10. Of all, including Lowe's and Home Depot and all the big guys, Floor and Decor, they're $180 million in flooring sales. So it's a nice account to have 50% of the space in, right?
Yeah, they're a leader. They're a pioneer in many ways, and I think this is a great proof point. And really what we're trying to do together here is take a really complex shopping experience for the customer or the consumer and remove the friction wherever we can. And so I think one of the big things that we're doing here with NFM is actually reducing the SKU count. This is something we've been harping about for some years. More doesn't necessarily mean more when the consumer has a very complex shopping journey. And so, yeah, it's been really, really great.
I got to tell you, thanks for listening to your research, because the 40% of the consumers that leave and decide not to buy flooring is because they were confused. And they're confused because they got too many options, right?
That's right. I'm building a home right now. We're in the final stages, should be done by the end of the year. And I will tell you, as a consumer or building a new home, just the fatigue involved in all the selections, including the flooring. I want to put Shaw flooring in my house, but the number of times my wife and I had to go back, had to review, had to go to the website, had to talk to people. It's incredible. And think about it, I'm in the flooring industry, so imagine what that's like for a consumer that knows nothing about flooring. And so, yeah, we're really trying to bring the research that we have received into action. NFM's been great about wanting to partner with us on that.
So you're building a home in the suburbs of Chattanooga. I guess you're going to stay, huh?
I'd like to if they'll have me. Yeah, I'll tell you, I enjoy the industry, special people, very close-knit community, and I feel really blessed to be a part of it. And so, yeah, I'm almost at 3 years here, so my family and I are putting down roots. We'd like to be here for a while.
So let's talk about house business.
Business, it could always be better, right? But I will tell you, we're seeing some stability this year, which is nice, despite instability in the world. I think it's arguably more unstable than it's been in quite some time, but really nice to see some stability. We're not seeing a lot of peaks and valleys in our business month to month. I like to say that the industry right now is volatile and uneven. So to answer that question, it's really hard because you have to talk about brands, you have to talk about channels, you have to talk about different geographies, and actually the industry is performing very different across those elements.
To slice it a little bit, residential replacement, you were telling me last night, is basically even with you guys, and multifamily's doing well, and it's actually the builder business that's pretty soft, right?
Yeah, I think we all know what's going on in the single-family home building market, right? It's a bit of a log jam between new construction and existing home sales. We know why. I don't see that changing for the foreseeable future, but I will tell you we see single-family home building as a strategic investment in the future. These relationships are long-term, right? So you're not racing quarter to quarter, month to month, and there's nothing more foundational to the American people than housing and shelter. And so we're staying on that as a big strategic investment point.
And Berkshire Hathaway just bought another big builder, right?
They did, yeah. Taylor Morrison. So I think they closed on that acquisition in the last week or so. So that was an interesting one to see in the news. And I'll tell you, we don't get any forewarning on that. We found out like everybody else did. But we're also thankful that Taylor Morrison has been a partner of ours for some time. So we'll continue to earn that business every day.
So you've been here 2.5 years. Let's talk about some structural changes you've made to make the residential business better. Tell us some of the details on that.
We want to bring branded storytelling to life with our customers. And again, today, great example. The storytelling to the consumer is as good as I've seen it in our industry. Get very, very close to our partners, our retail partners, to help bring their brand to life with the consumer, and then bring our brands to life, because the ultimate mission there is to give the consumer peace of mind in what they're doing. I think the Anso Gallery is a great example of best-in-class merchandising, best-in-class in-store storytelling for the consumer. So that's the first one. And then the second one is, we want to get as close to our customers as possible, so really pushing the decision-making closer to the field, closer to the customer. We do that. We have 3 big divisions, West, Central, and East, with general managers over those businesses. Those 3 GMs report to Aaron John, who's now back with us after a few years away. And the goal there is speed and pace. And so, a lot of changes over the last few years, but I feel like we're really starting to settle into a more stable environment, and I think we're going to see fruit as we continue to stabilize there.
Probably also need to mention that Herb Upton is moved over to the manufacturing side, in charge of that now, and I'm looking at some of these products you got here. They're gorgeous, so that's a piece of it too, right?
It's been great. So when I joined, Herb was actually leading our pricing initiative. About midway through my time here, we moved Herb into product development, so a natural fit for him, marriage of his manufacturing experience with product, and then most recently, a few months ago, moving him now to lead manufacturing for the enterprise. And so now, I used to sit on my team directly. Now he's really running the whole manufacturing show for Shaw. So it's been great to work with him in a different capacity.
With all the plants you have and all the components you make in different areas, there's a lot of moving parts. So it's good to have a quarterback like that on there, right?
It's a great quarterback to have. He's got years and years of experience in the industry and at Shaw, and then you marry that with a really robust supply chain leadership, and we think those are 2 big keys to success for the future.
We're about out of time. Another quick question, and then I just wanted to highlight something you told me last night. Tell us about carpet sales and how that relates to the proportion of sales to hard surface.
Yeah, so, back to this theme of uneven, right? So depending on where you're looking, right? If we're talking about California, we're probably not talking as much about carpet, but we are seeing pockets in the United States of really phenomenal carpet growth. And I don't mean level 1 carpet. I mean bold colors, patterns, styles, consumers willing to pay more money to bring their personal style to life. And some pockets of the country are even seeing customers come back in and replace LVP with carpet. And so we love this because we feel like maybe there's a resurgence in the age of carpet coming here, but really beautiful, great carpet.
2 reasons probably, right? Styling is really, especially these LCLs, these patterns, these textures you're coming out with, but also the LVT business is mature now, right?
Yeah, this is something you and I talked about, and I think it's interesting because if you've worked in the flooring industry for the last 30 years, you've never seen what we're seeing right now. This is not a category that's going to grow at 10 to 12% anymore. This is a maturing category, so it's going to grow in line with GDP, call it 1 to 3%. And so the game's going to be played a little bit different now that LVP is a maturing category.
All right, Benjamin, it's great to catch up. Thanks for spending time with us. Again, been talking to Benjamin Liebert, the president of Shaw's residential business, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.